Welcome back. Let's head over to Italy now and speak to a Bournemouth player on loan at the giant that is AC Milan, goalkeeper Asmir Begovic. Asmir, how are you?
I'm good, Scott. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Look, Serie A returns to action June the 20th, although the Coppa Italia semi-final is this Friday. How have they dealt with everything over there to get the football back on? And are the players all on board with playing again?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a steady process. We've been back here now about 7 weeks or so. We had to do a couple weeks in quarantine to obviously follow all the rules and do what we have to do. And then we started training in small groups. We did all the medical testing and then started training in the small groups and built it up slowly up from there. And been in full team training, I guess, almost for 2 weeks now. So, yeah, it's been good. It's been a steady process. Everyone's been really good about it. The club and all the authorities have done a great job in making us feel comfortable and safe. And, training's been going really well. And now looking forward to playing the games again.
Yeah, I've got to ask you about the Black Lives Matter campaign as well. We've seen in Germany, as well as other countries, teams, players taking the knee. Has anything been said in Italy about this? And has anything been discussed with the lads in the dressing room about doing something similar at all?
It's not something we've discussed in too much detail. I think that's something we'll talk about now leading up to the games. But obviously, it's been a great campaign in Germany. I think the players have done a great job to raise awareness for the cause, and obviously the situation that's going on in the world right now. So something we'll discuss in the next few days, I'm sure.
In the Premier League, there are 9-10 games left of the season. In Serie A, there are 12, 13 for some. Is it a two-horse race for you, Juve and Lazio? How could Lazio, or maybe even Inter, do it, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think anything can happen. I mean, we've still got quite a lot of games to play. I think those three teams have been incredibly strong this year and have done really, really well. And, you're going to have to obviously fancy Juventus just because the fact that they've been there and done it so many times now. And they've got a great squad. It's going to be so many games in a short space of time. So the squad's going to play a big role. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any injuries and suspensions. So I think it'll be between those three teams. But I guess you have to give a slight edge to Juventus just because of their past experience and having been there so many times before.
Hey, Asmir, good to see you again, mate. I wanted to ask you, you've obviously been training very close quarters to Donnarumma. And we've heard a lot about this boy for the last few years. Got into the team at a very early age. Just how good is he, and just how good can he go on to be?
Well, he's phenomenal, really. I mean, you forget he's only 21. Having worked with him now in such a close space, you see the quality that he has. And, I think he can be anything he wants to be. To achieve what he has done already is remarkable. And, he's got everything at his feet, So he's obviously one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now. And I'm sure it'll be very, very soon, I guess, that everyone will say he is the best. But, he's got everything in his locker. I mean, he's got a great mentality, I think, which is even more impressive for someone of that age. So he's been doing really well.
So are we looking at the next Buffon then? Do you think he's got the ability to become a legend of the game like he has?
Oh, 100%. I mean, when he's got everything at his feet, like I said, to be only 21, he can be in this game for another 20 years and shatter all sorts of records and achieve anything that he wants to. But he's done an incredible job so far, like I said, to deal with all the expectations and the pressure put on him as he's had, especially playing at a club like AC Milan. So to be able to deal with that shows a lot about his character and about what he can do. And I think he can, like I said, be a huge success for the next 10, 20 years.
And Asmir, you spent a lot of time, of course, in English football. I just wonder, how do you feel generally Italian football compares to the English game? Do they do a lot of different things in terms of training, tactics, how they coach their players? Is it massively different over in Serie A compared to the Premier League?
I wouldn't say it's massively different. I think, you have high quality players in both leagues. I mean, these are two of the best leagues in the world, absolutely, that we're comparing and looking at. You definitely say that here. There's a lot more of a focus on tactics. I mean, a lot of teams are incredibly tactically well driven and compact and difficult to break down. I guess there's a little bit probably less pressing, so teams are more compact behind the ball. Maybe that's something when playing against us, obviously we've experienced quite a bit. So I would say that's the main difference. I think the pace of the game in England is so high and incredibly up and down that most leagues really can't compete with that.
And also, what does the future hold for Milan? Where do you see them maybe in 5 years' time? Do they need to change an awful lot to be more of a threat and kind of winning titles again?
Well, I think they're building something very interesting here. I mean, it's a very young team. Before us three older players, sort of more experienced players, came in January, it was the youngest team. It was the youngest team in the league. So they're obviously trying to rebuild the team and put a good squad together. And you have some really talented young players here. So if they can keep this group together for the next few years and add to that and add a little bit more quality and experience, then I'm sure they'll be challenging again for trophies. I don't see why not. I mean, you have everything here to be successful. It's an amazing club, a tradition. The fan base is just out of this world, really. And so they have everything here really to be one of the best clubs in the world. And results-wise, not just what they've done in the past and having that great fan base. So we'll see what happens. There's been a lot of change at the top, and ownership has changed quite a lot. So I think if you can keep a little bit more consistency and keep this group together for the next little while, then they'll be right up there again.
Asmir, you joined midway through this season. You're actually in Azerbaijan for 3 months earlier this season, playing for Karabakh in the Europa League. How was that?
Do you know what? It was an amazing experience. Something that came up. It was a long summer, a bit of a crazy transfer window last year, and I was given that opportunity right in the last day. And I thought, why not? Let's go and play, experience something different. Obviously, the Europa League was a great experience, and put myself back out there again. So I had a great time. Baku is a great city, really cool culture. Made some new friends as well, people that I'm hopefully going to be in touch with for a long time. So it was a really great experience all around, and most importantly, got me back to playing, enjoying the game again, back in that shop window, as you can say. And then obviously things worked out really well in January.
Let's keep you in that shop window. Your contract's up at the end of the season. What's the plan? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think everything is a little bit of a standstill at the moment. When you're looking at the transfer market and what teams' plans are, I think as the leagues now are all getting restarted, things will come a little bit more clear and people will have a better idea for next year and can make plans. And the same goes for myself, really. I've got the loan spell here until the end of the season, which, I'm going to do my best to help the team be as successful as possible. And then we'll take it from there. I've got 2 years left at Bournemouth, and we'll discuss that situation in the next couple of months, I'm sure.
What about your time in England? What's been the highlight? There's plenty of them, isn't there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been around for quite a while now, and it's been an awesome experience, and there's been some really good things. I mean, of course, making my debut for Portsmouth was great, and then an incredible 5.5 years at Stoke, where we achieved a lot of really good things, and then I think at Chelsea, winning the Premier League was probably the highlight so far. I mean, to be able to experience that, be part of that team, bring silverware to Chelsea, which is something they love to do and obviously expect each and every year. That was a pretty awesome experience.
What did you learn from that Chelsea squad, the one that won the title, about how to win titles?
Well, I really learned what it means to be a team. We had an incredible amount of quality, I think. We had some really fantastic players and in all positions, and multiple players at some positions. And, I think we understood that we had to, for the greater good of everyone, we had to all collectively sacrifice and be there for each other. And, there was no such thing as anything from a selfish point of view. We had to really dig in as a team. And I think our team spirit was fantastic. The little things about the guys sacrificing their roles and the training, the intensity in training, and just what we did as a team, I think was incredible. So I think it really showed me that what a group of guys can do when they really buy into the whole concept of being a team.
Asmir, you're 32 years old now. Now, us outfield players, we were starting to look at that and think that this is just about my time coming to an end now. Goalkeepers are a little bit different. How long do you see yourself playing at the top level for?
Well, as long as possible. We really wouldn't put any any boundaries on there. I mean, I feel great, of training every day, competing at the highest level. So from that point of view, physically, I feel great. Mentally, as long as I'm mentally challenged and I think I can keep that motivation going, then hopefully I can go for as long as possible in a few more years. I mean, I wouldn't say like a certain age target. I think just take it year by year. And, I think if I keep doing the right things, keep looking after myself and keep myself ready, then hopefully I can play for a good few more years and maybe reach that magical 40 mark.
Asmir, you've made some pretty impressive saves over the year, but I wanted to talk to you about a goal that you scored for Stoke.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk to you about the goal celebration off the back of it as well. Goal scoring is such a rarity for a goalkeeper. Why did you react in such a subdued way, shaking your head? You wouldn't have been running around the pitch celebrating the goal.
Well, I guess it was more out of surprise than anything. I think when you sort of imagine scoring goals, it's a last-minute winner. And like you said, everyone goes crazy, where I scored, like 10 seconds into a game. So I think from everything, it took me back a little bit. Generally, I don't show too much emotion on the field, but I guess it was just a moment that surprised me a little bit. I didn't know what to do with myself overall. But I think as time goes on, I realized how special it was. And, it's part of history, and that's something that happens very often. So, yeah, it was still a pretty cool moment.
Was it also due to being part of the goalkeepers union and feeling a little bit embarrassed for the goalkeeper at the other end of the pitch?
Yeah.
Did you speak to Arthur after the game?
No, well, a little bit of that, of course, as well. I think just out of respect, you try and keep things as modest as possible. I said to him after the game, I don't know what happened there. It's just one of those things, I guess. And then, funny enough, a few years later, we're obviously playing together at Bournemouth, so it was definitely brought up then. That's for sure. A few times. So it's been talked about for sure.
Good man.
Asmir, how tough is the goalkeeper position mentally? And we played out on the field, and if we make a mistake, it doesn't always lead to the goal, or quite often it does in Andy and my case. But with you as being a goalkeeper, it more often than not does. How tough is it? How do you deal with those tough moments when really if you do make a mistake, it does go in, and then you don't see the ball again for another 5 or 6 minutes?
Yeah, of course. I think from a mental point of view, especially, it's the most difficult position on the field. It's something really that you can only get better by going through it. It's not something you can prepare too many guys for. As much as I've got goalkeeper academies, and you talk to young goalkeepers and you try and talk to them about it. But really, until they go through these situations, they'll be able to look at themselves how they deal with it, because some guys really analyze it, really wanted to fix that mistake. Some guys just sort of brush it off and life goes on type of thing. So there's many different ways of dealing with it. I think it's something through experience and having to go through those situations that will prepare you the best for how to deal with that kind of stuff. But ultimately, you have to have good people around you. The goalkeeper coach is very, very important. That small group of guys that you work with on a daily basis, I think if that's really solid and you have positive influences around you, then that sort of one-off incident really doesn't affect you all that much.
And Asmir, of course, you still want to play yourself, but you mentioned there Donnarumma, a very young goalkeeper at Milan. Did you see yourself taking on something of a father figure role? Do you kind of talk to young goalkeepers? Okay, they have the goalkeeping coach and the head coach, but do you find as an experienced goalkeeper that you are talking to the young keepers just to give them an idea of what they might face in the future?
Yeah, of course. I think that comes part and parcel with it. As you say, you've gained a lot of experience. So I've been in the game quite a few years now. So if I can help any youngsters and share some wisdom and share some of my experiences with them, then of course I'm very, very happy to do it. I think here, first and foremost, we compete every day. We push each other. We push each other to be better, to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And of course, to make sure that the guy who's performing on the weekend is the best possible shape and, to help the team win. So it's ultimately, like I said, it's a team sport before, and, we have to be at our best to help the team win and get results. And then, as you say, from a different, smaller group perspective, if I can help any younger goalkeepers through my experiences and what I've gone through, then of course I'm very happy to do that. I think goalkeeping is difficult, as you say, at the best of times. So I think if you can if you can help and encourage younger goalkeepers, then of course I'm more than happy to do so.
It's not an official union, but there's the reason why we call it Goalkeepers Union. You can see why you all feel that either way, is probably why you didn't have the celebration either with that goal. Listen, Asmir, very good luck with the rest of the season in Milan, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, no doubt. You know that. And I'm sure you'll be getting the contract somewhere around Europe as well next season. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.